MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome. This is Ramana Annamaraju, host of the MedBix Webcast. No, I'm not Albert this time, but I'm pretty good. So anyway, we have a very great program today. I have a very distinguished guest, distinguished professor of clinical pathology from the University of University of Chicago, Urbana-Champaign. We're going to ask him a lot of questions about the cancer and the pathology. And then I'm going to present a topic on evil in the computers, computer code. What causes that? What is this inherent problem with the computer coding that causes the developmental cost to go up? The time it takes 4 times and the twice the cost. What it does, what it takes to all these technology costs twice the money and the 4 times the time. That's the problem with the. So I'm going to explain to you what that inherent problem of the computer coding. That's a physics problem. That's a logical mathematical problem. So I'm going to explain that a little bit later on. But we have a very distinguished guest. I told you again, Dr. Krishna Tangella is the professor, a clinical professor of pathology in the University of Chicago, Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. He is a founder of DOWMED, medical information website. It's a wonderful website. It is a wide variety of information. You must go and visit that DOWMED.com, DOVEMED.com, DOWMED.com. Let me bring him onto the table. Dr. Tangella, welcome to the MedBix Webcast.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Ramana. Thanks for having me here today.
So, we're going to talk about you're an entrepreneur, startup founder, you're doing a lot of things. Welcome. I wanted to ask you firstly, start about your home, the thing that you do every day. So, pathology. The cancer is, that is killing several people, 10 million people every year in the whole globe. It is just deadly disease. So cancer is not a one disease, as a pathology is a very complicated. What is the personalized medicine? What is the personalized diagnostics you do? What is the personalized diagnostics of the cancer, sir?
Sure. Thanks for having me here again. So cancer diagnostics and therapeutics is a very complex and rapidly evolving field. Not every cancer is the same. Someone may have lung cancer. No 2 lung cancers are the same. There is a complex issues with genetic mutations that causes the cancer to form. So when that happens, you can imagine that when an individual is diagnosed with cancer, it's a very personalized makeup of that cancer. And if we can understand that, then we can personalize treatments for an individual based on the type of cancer that they have. So this is something that has been evolving in the last 15 to 20 years in a very rapid manner, Ramana.
What is the role of pathology, and you are being a pathologist, what is the role of pathologist and pathology itself? The field of pathology, how does it participate, help in the cancer diagnostics?
Yeah. Ramana, as you probably know, a pathologist is a physician who diagnoses a variety of different cancers all over. It could be, lymphomas, leukemias, sarcomas, melanomas. So pathology department and a pathologist is where the tissue um, of the patient is analyzed. So we are the gatekeepers of diagnosis. And because we are the gatekeepers, we are at the forefront of developing technology, analyzing different types of cancers, understanding why cancers are caused, and we are the forefronts to help the biopharmaceutical companies to develop targeted cancer therapies. So, as diagnostician, the journey begins um, with us.
The thing is that the tech, that there's so much progress going on in the cancer side. What you're certainly gatekeepers, no question about that. So, what are the technologies? What kind of a clinical technology is playing a role? What is the developments in that area, sir?
Sure. So over the last 15, 20 years, we have new and new methodologies to detect abnormalities in cancer. Um, we use molecular tools such as next gen sequencing, which actually sequences the DNA of the tumor cells. We have the ability to sequence the RNA profiles of the tumor. We use in situ hybridization studies to detect for certain proteins or mutations. We have ability to detect certain mutations using special stains called in immunohistochemical stains. So um, even the field of uh, technology is evolving very, very rapidly.
Tangela, you're a pathologist for a long time. Do you ever seen that progress from when you started your career and now this molecular diagnostics is a big difference? You see that in the cancer diagnostics?
Yes, Ramana. I have been so fortunate to be part of the journey of knowledge expansion. Um, I started this journey about 25 years ago, and and I've been in practice for over 20 years now. And what I've noticed, what I've seen firsthand in the last 20 years is absolutely phenomenal, Ramana. Um, wh- 20 years ago, the physicians were happy, the oncologists were just happy getting a diagnosis of lung cancer. And they had their own set of chemotherapy and they would go at the cancer. But in the last 20 years, we are we are analyzing the tumor cells with more specific targeted diagnostic tools that helps us understand what causes those cancers, because certain mutations clearly have targeted therapy which can benefit the patient. So in my 20 years, the growth has been phenomenal.
So another thing is how does it the whole thing place in the treatment itself in the cancer treatment?
Yes. So as we diagnose a cancer, we just don't tell you what kind of cancer it is. We actually give you prognostic markers, which basically means how aggressive the tumor is. Um, then we give you information on predictive markers, and predictive markers are special tests that a pathologist would do that helps an oncology with information, and this information would tell the oncologist which chemotherapy agents to give and which one to avoid. So we give both. So if there's a cancer cell has a specific mutation for which we have a treatment, then I would tell, through my reports and my workup, that yes, there are these targeted mutations that are present. So what happens is that if you have a certain targeted mutations present, then you avoid using a shotgun approach and going after the patients with chemotherapy, which may not be very effective. And you probably know, Ramana, chemotherapy is extremely toxic. It's extremely crucial to target only the cancer cells in the body and not the normal healthy cells. So that is the goal of chemotherapy and cancer therapy. So we, the pathologists, give you the targeted information to use the medication to target the tumor, but not the healthy cells as much.
You mentioned a hepatologist. So, what are the functions of you as a pathologist, and what they do, hepatologists? Can you explain a little bit, elaborate on that a little bit more?
Can you repeat the question again?
So, you just mentioned a hepatologist. They do predictive markers. So, what is that exactly, pathologist and a hepatologist? What is the difference, and what they
So
do exactly?
I say the pathologist, not hepatologist. The predictive markers are markers that the pathologist tests, which helps the oncologist determine
Okay.
which cancer therapies to use and which one not to use.
Yeah, definitely great. So this is a pathologists play a huge role in the treatment itself. You know, whether it is radiation treatment or if it is a chemotherapy drugs. These are targeted drugs, right? Chemotherapy or targeted drugs. That's why they need a lot of input from the pathologist. So, what do you think of the challenges you have on the side of the in the things that you do right now? Still, a lot of people are dying with the cancer. There are a lot of challenges. What are the challenges you're facing?
Yeah, Ramana, in spite of rapid advances, having advanced technological tools for these cancer patients, there are numerous challenges when it comes to personalized oncology. First of all, is the technology sometimes is very advanced. Not every institution can afford to have the technology. So even in an advanced country like the United States, some of these technologies to determine these mutations are not available in rural areas, and the cost of technology is prohibitive. Um, the next would be the cost. Some of these diagnostic tools are pretty expensive, and that can again will be a problem for access for significant population of cancer patients. But as we um, understand these tools and bring them more and more mainstream, and we scale them up, the cost of doing these tests and accessibility of these tests, even in rural America, will become much easier. And so hopefully the cost will drop. And the third challenge I would say, Ramana, is that the evolving of the medicine is happening so fast. New therapies are being approved by FDA every day. It is very difficult for a pathologist to keep up with all this knowledge advancements. So the cost is a problem, access to technology is a problem, and then keeping up with all this new information is a challenge, definitely. And what I have noticed is in the last 20 years, my learning, especially when it comes to personalized oncological medicine, is growing every day. I have to stay alert. I have to go to conferences and then subscribe to newsletters from a variety of different sources and to keep up with information that will help me diagnose and help the oncologist treat patients better.
So you're like a director. A lot of people, you're behind the scenes. You're leading the entire play of the cancer treatment, cancer diagnostics and treatment. What are the key trends? A lot of people don't know. Even physicians may not know all the things pathologists do. But let me ask you a question: is that what are the key trends now in the future future trends are coming up in the molecular pathology or the general overall pathology?
So, one of the biggest trends that I would say is understanding cancer itself. We are able to answer cancer in a more um, vivid manner. And as we advance science, we understand that cancer. Um, I lost you. Sorry, I lost you there for a second. Um, so I was saying that the big one of the things that's happening in pathology is that as the new technologies are evolving and they're getting more and more accessible, the implementation of those technologies in rural America, um, and also transfer, and learning by the pathologists is something that's happening pretty rapidly, I would say. Use of telemedicine, use of teletechnologies, use of now you can send a tissue sample pretty much anywhere in America using FedEx, and within 72 hours to 96 hours, we would get information back. Um, so I see some serious work to be done ahead uh, to standardize quality across America, um, and bring it to the standards of tertiary healthcare centers.
As we are all getting older, particularly me, not you are getting younger, we're all susceptible to the cancers. What are the things you think that we can prevent it? We don't have that prevention, that people say, but really the God's wish that is part. I wanted to ask you, what are the particular cancer? I have two friends going through a pancreatic cancer. What do you think that which cancer is the most deadliest one, and which is there any advances going on in those cancers?
So all cancers have potential to be extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
Some cancers obviously are slow growing. Some cancers are extremely fast growing. It's hard to characterize uh, that one particular type of cancer is more devastating than other cancers. But we do know that individuals with pancreatic cancer, uh,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. I think it's something is going on with our
no
system.
problem, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
We do know that individuals with pancreatic cancer are diagnosed at later stages, and hence the prognosis is more poorer. Um, it all depends on the grade and the stage of the tumor before one can characterize the prognosis.
We all need a pathologist. We all need a behind the scenes directors to save us from these fatal diseases from the entire globe. So thank you, sir. It is truly an honor to talk with you. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Is a lesson. You are not only a great pathologist, you are truly a teacher, a great teacher. And please tell me something about the DOMED. Well, you are founder of a DOMED. Just give me some background in the DOMED, sir.
Sure. So since we are talking about cancer, I can talk about DovMed from the lens of a cancer. So when someone gets diagnosed with a cancer, especially a lady with breast cancer, you can imagine how much anxiety um, the patient would have. And first thing they do is go to Dr. Google and search for information. And the information online is often difficult to understand, confusing. Um, it may not be fully accurate, and because of sponsored content, it may be very biased. The government offers health information that is unbiased and physician approved. So the breast cancer patient can be comforted in the fact that information on DovMed is reliable. Now, as the patient goes through the journey of treatment, Government offers a variety of tools, including top quality oncologists near her, no matter where her location is in the United States. We offer highest rated hospitals, clinics, physicians to connect with the patient who has just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And then, after she starts the treatment process, it's often possible that breast cancer patients are often lonely, they need support, and for that, we have built My Circles, which are patient forums where individuals with breast cancers can come together, support each other emotionally, and also have healthcare experts join those forums and answer those questions. As the lady is going through breast cancer therapy, she may have questions. And so we have built an Ask a Doctor platform where she can go on Ask a Doctor platform on government and ask questions, and a US licensed, US trained physician would respond to those general inquiries that patients may have. Anything that's specific to her healthcare needs, she will have to ask her treating physician, but sometimes they may have general information that they can reach out to government, ask a doctor physician, and get that. We also have a dedicated physician blogs on breast cancers where this individual can read the physician's experiences, their experiences in treating breast cancer patients. So you can imagine we have a variety of tools and technologies to help someone who has just been diagnosed with a cancer.
You're not only building just a website, it's an action information website, is an actionable website. You can see, you can interact, you can participate in the whole thing. That's an amazing dowmed.com. Please visit. Thank you, sir. It's truly an honor to talk with you. It is always an education for all of us.
Thank you, Ramana. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, guys. I'm going to present 1 second. I'm presenting next topic. Is the evil in the computer code. Okay, that is the evil in the computer code. It's going to be interesting. Let me bring it a little bit. Bring it that part. So you heard from a Dr. Krishna Tangella. Is a very great teacher. In fact, not only for just everybody, and it's for the even physicians. Even for the physicians. Okay, evil in the computer code. What is this? Is all very interesting to a lot of people. I'm going to tell you. There was a tweet done in a few years ago. The Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe. That's what they tweeted. It looks stupid. It's a very self-contradictory. As you understand, Flat Earth, they have a lot of members. You will be surprised. With more than 100,000 or so. They have a very well-funded program, actually, Flat Earth Society. They believe Earth is a flat. That's what it is. So they tweeted this Flat Earth Society as a members all around the globe. They're admitting globe is around, the Earth is around. So it's a self-contradictory for their goals. So, but this self-contradiction is a very serious problem, as you think. It is not that easy. It maybe looks stupid, but there is a serious people involved in this one. Kurt Gödel, his name is Kurt Gödel, is born in 1906 in Austria. Is one of the greatest logician, mathematician, philosopher. They compared to him is equal to Bertrand Russell, David Hilbert in mathematician, as a philosopher, as a Bertrand Russell, Aristotle. He is equivalent to all of them. People may not know his name, but Kurt Gödel is a very well known. He's also he has a bad name also. They call him Potty Pooper. He's a devil. He appears everywhere. He's a ghost. He's a spoiler ghost, a bad ghost. That's what they call him. He's a kind of a Potty Pooper for all of the mathematicians and philosophers. That's exactly, I tell you, I'm going to explain to you what that is. So, in the he was invited by the Kurt Gödel was invited by Albert Einstein. They're all colleagues. Albert Einstein invited him to be a part of the invited to Princeton to as a staff. So he moved from Austria to Princeton, New Jersey, for the University of Princeton. He was a staff member. Kurt Gödel is a mathematics professor. So, but he gave a testimony in the 1951. He gave a testimony to the U.S. Congress that what he said was there is a self-contradiction in the U.S. Constitution. It says that you can democratically, United States can become a dictatorship. You can go through the democratic process and make it dictator. That's self-contradictory. That's very strange. That is what he said. It is a logical flaw in the U.S. Constitution that you can make it. The self-contradictory thing is that you can make through democratic process. You can amend itself. You can amend the amendment itself to become dictatorship. That's what he proposed it. Albert Einstein didn't like it. He said that you're going to spoil, you're going to get a mess up with everybody. But people didn't believe in that one. Now people may believe recently what we went through last few years. People may believe these kind of things. But in fact, that's what he proposed. Is there is a self-contradiction in the U.S. Constitution. But there is a lot of in the United States. There's a lot of don't worry now. We have a lot of guardrails there. Either the Congress is there, and then the Supreme Court. All of them they play a critical role in that one. But there is a logical flaw he pointed out in the U.S. Constitution. So, then he is a kind of a pooper for the mathematician. Even Albert Einstein, he used to get scared of him. There's one mathematician, Albert Einstein, he used to be nervous about, because he used to even doubt his own theories when he goes. They lived in Princeton. I went to the place of where Einstein lived, and they used to go for walks. Albert Einstein and the Kurt Gödel, every evening they used to go for walks, and then that is the way they used to talk about all these things. So one of the things is, special theory of relativity. It is also proposes the time dilation, which is H.G. Wells that written a time travel, right? That you can go back in time, go in the future, back in time. Those kind of things. That is a fictional novel. But Albert Einstein did not believe you can go backwards. You cannot go back if you go backwards, what happens is if you go backwards, you go back in time and kill your grandfather and he would not exist. That's a grandfather. How could it be possible he could not have come back? So it's a grandfather paradox, that's the call. That's what he created the problem for Albert Einstein's theory, but he said that Albert Einstein believed in that you cannot go back in time. But Kurt Gödel came up with the profound mathematical situation, mathematical solution, the physical aspects to it, which is a rotating universe with the dust particles, can cause a time curve, and you can go back in the past. So he was kind of made everybody nervous, including Albert Einstein. So Kurt Gödel is not an easy kind of guy. He is like appears a devil for a lot of people in the mathematical world and the philosophical world. So what is Kurt Gödel? He proposed in 1925. He proposed a incompleteness theorem. What is that theorem says? What is a self-contradiction? So say I'm lying. That is a statement. You cannot able to prove I am lying. I'm giving you gist of his incompleteness theorem. I'm lying. You cannot prove because you don't know whether I'm lying about I'm lying. So I'm telling the truth about I'm lying, or I'm lying about I'm lying. So that cannot be testable. That is a part of the statement is impossible to prove. That is a self-contradictory. That what he said. Okay. Let me come in the side. Yeah. So that is a Kurt Gödel incompleteness theorem says that I'm lying, you cannot prove it. That is, so what that means, he proposed two theorems actually. 1925 is one, and then he came back, and then 1941 I think he proposed the second theorem. I tell you what, that first one. There are some things that are true but cannot be proven using a set of rules. But what that means, if you have 1 plus 0 equal to 1, you know 1 plus 0 equals to 1. It's a self-evident, you understand it, but you cannot prove 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. It's based on belief. There's no proof. If you want to prove, it is not easy to prove 1 plus 0 equal to 1. That's a statement of belief. Then it is a self-evident, it may be, but you cannot prove it by any theorem or axioms or anything like that. You cannot prove it. I mean, I'm giving you a general idea. Don't hold me. There is some guy wrote a 300-page book on the 1 plus 0 equal to 1 to prove that. That is, I'm not talking about that. It is just giving you a gist of it, is that you cannot prove 1 plus 0. That is a big statement of belief. So a lot of mathematics are based on statement of beliefs, So we propose the theorem number 2. If we start with a set of rules or axioms for a reasoning, it is impossible to prove that those rules or axioms are consistent and do not lead to any contradictions. This theorem is very evident in healthcare, as you all know. It's everywhere now. We started with the providing care to everyone. That's what we started with, but no one can afford it. That's a self-contradictory. It's just started there, right in the healthcare, you can feel it. The Kathmandu incompleteness theorem plays a role in everywhere. So you can see that, right? So what is the Alan Turing came up with based on Alan Turing is a mathematician in the British mathematician in 1940s during the World War II. He came up with he was one of the, if you see the movie Imitation Game, you got to see that. It's a very great story of Alan Turing. Alan Turing is a mathematician, is a gay man from England. It was a sad story of his life. But he's a brilliant mathematician. He is one of the fathers of the Van Neumann and this guy are the fathers of the computers in my view. So he said that you cannot design a program that can you cannot design a program to write other program to test the other program whether it is going to run forever or is going to stop. You cannot. That's impossible to do that. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that again. You cannot write a coding program number 1 to test whether program 2 you cannot design whether it stops or is going to run forever. You cannot test it. You cannot do that. It's unprovable, that process, because based on Kathmandu incompleteness theorem. So that's what he said. That is everybody knows Alan Turing. Alan Turing solved the problem of the coding cryptography for all the Second World War from the Germans. Then he is famous for that. You should see the movie Imitation Game. But what is the evil in the computer code? Where it came from? It is based on Alan Turing proposed a halting theorem. It's called halting problem. It is based on the Kathmandu incompleteness theorem. Its halting problem is you cannot decidability of the second program. You cannot design a program that you cannot tell the second program that can run forever or run into the flow errors or infinities, and we don't know it. Or it's going to stop, terminate itself. We don't know that. So that is a halting problem, it's called. That is one of the problems that software people cannot estimate. That is unpredictable. So that's why sometimes is not possible. That is cost and time. Sometimes we all know the cost of the software development is twice, and it takes four times time. What they say, the schedules. So this could be the problem. Halting problem could play a role besides their skill sets and all those things. So halting problem is evil in the computer code that is lurking behind it. Alan Turing proposed, nowadays people talk about computer becoming a human. You cannot tell the difference. That's called Alan Turing test. Turing test. What is a Turing test? You sit down you put the computer in one room and you put a human in the other room, and then You don't know where the computer is, where the human is. So a human sit down in the other room and ask questions. If the questions you cannot tell, you cannot distinguish the answers, then that's a Turing test is there. Then singularity was reached. Computer became self-aware. It became singularity. That's what they call. But I have a little bit of a problem with that. I tell you what that problem is. So that is a Kathgodal complete incompleteness theorem. That's actually Roger Penrose suggested it. That's a bigger problem to solve for these artificial intelligence computers. I tell you what that is. So if you go to there is a new artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is an amazing program. I tell you, I'm using it sometimes. It is truly an amazing AI software. That's the first one. I highly recommend it for any questions. So ChatGPT is the AI program, and then if you put a ChatGPT in one place and you put the human other place, you cannot tell the difference. So we already reach. You most likely we are come to very close that you cannot tell the difference. But that makes that makes singularity. That means that can it make the computer become a human? That is a question I'm going to answer in a second. That is what it is. So that is a self-contradiction is there. I tell you what the self-contradiction is. I can go to a Indian programmer, that's woman, can pray a snake god, a cobra, poisonous snake that can kill you, can pray God in the morning and can write an incredible computer code, logic and reasoning code in the afternoon. This is contradiction. It is just one area is a blind belief and is dangerous, and the other one is truly a computer logical process, highest of the logic she's writing. So humans can accommodate the self-contradictory things much easier. If the computers, you put that test, they crash. Self-contradiction is a death sentence for the computers. So in the more complex world, the self-contradiction is going to kill. That is what the Roger Penrose says, that is going to be a problem for the computers to be completely human. So a consciousness is another area. So that is the evil in the computer code. So that is the computer is that self-contradiction appears everywhere and it kills the whole process. That Kathgodal, thanks to him, everybody hates him. A lot of mathematicians and logicians hate him, but that is one of the things. Now, evil in the computer code is technical debt and higher entropy. I'm going to talk about entropy. I already then higher entropy is, I'm going to play, you need to watch this video. I'm going to play that video if you don't mind, just to give me 1 second. Yeah. I'm going to play this video, guys, and watch this. Hello, my name is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm going to introduce you to one of the most enigmatic and elusive concepts in the entire field of science from my book, Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. The concept is called entropy. I'm focusing on one aspect of entropy related to information and its connection with the present-day healthcare challenges. Entropy is like a ghost, but it is a mean one. You don't see it, you cannot talk to it, it never leaves you, it threatens your job, it tries to destroy your health, it affects your performance, it follows you wherever you go and whatever you do. You feel and see only its destruction. It is not your competitor you need to worry. You need to worry about this elusive ghost. It is your enemy number one. Please pay attention. It makes a difference in your career, in your job, and your duties. If you are a policymaker, you have to understand the impact of money and the economy of your citizens. If you are the CEO of healthcare system, you have to be concerned about access and equity for all your members. And if you are a software engineer, you need to analyze simplicity versus complexity with your user experience design. As I mentioned before, entropy is your number one enemy. It is true what they say, know your enemy first, then you can come up with a strategy to deal with it. We need to start with the question how much you know and how much you don't know about a system you're working on. This is not some philosophical or a new age question. You have to quantify with the numbers. It is a scientific question to the core. The answer is not that easy. Fortunately, there was a guy smarter than all of us, gave a stunning insight. His name is Ludwig Boltzmann, an Austrian physicist, lived in the latter part of 1800s, came up with a statistical formula for known versus unknown. It is not just a formula, it is a law, second law of thermodynamics. In urban slang, we call it as a law of entropy. The law is not limited to known versus unknown, it is present everywhere, materials and processes and even life itself. Entropy is a true measure of your ignorance of a system. You may say, I don't know a lot of things, but I know what I know, and what I don't know, I don't know. This statement may seem right before you know about the law of entropy. The law of entropy says the unknown does not sit idle. It is constantly attacking your known systems. Entropy wants you to become ignorant and leaves you in constant confusion. It creates a chaos, your understanding of any system dwindling every day by law of entropy. Only way out is to fight it. Entropy is a tough concept to comprehend. I will do my best here with a simple example. You see a picture of a teacup with the 2 sugar cubes in the bottom and the top teacup is mixed with the sugar. Adding 2 cubes of sugar makes you happier, but your happiness does not come for free. I know sugar prices are going up. Still worse, the law of entropy says your ignorance is also going up. You have known knowledge that there are 2 sugar cubes. Since you know something makes the bottom cup low entropy state. Now, when you mix the sugar, you turn the simple system into a complex system. Even if I ask you, you cannot get sugar cubes back. Sugar is melted away and you lost all the information about the sugar cubes. The irreversibility of the process increases the state of entropy. In a split second, you made the top cup in a higher entropy state. Known system became an unknown. Just it applies to a teacup, this irreversibility is evident everywhere and everything you do. A simple realization that if you create a process for your company with some data variables, the complexity slowly seeps in. It means you lost control of your process and the information becomes chaotic. But if you keep tabs on what it takes to reverse the process to the initial state, it saves you time, money, and energy. You are keeping the ghost of entropy at bay. Life itself is a low entropy system. Zoom in or zoom out, your cells to your entire body do hand-to-hand combat with the law of entropy to keep you healthy and alive. Your number one enemy is waiting at outskirts of your life and your company. Boltzmann revealed this book of knowledge and wisdom about the universe with his famous equation. He could not convince his peers about his theory. Later, Boltzmann committed suicide, and his famous formula was written on his tombstone. Devil also, like numbers. Chaos may be its nickname, but it is speaking the nature's language, that is mathematics. Cancer is cellular chaos. There is no diagnostic equipment can measure the exact progression, but with the entropy algorithms, you can extract patterns from seemingly chaotic information. One such algorithm came from an unrelated field, football. Yes, game of soccer. Soccer fanatics wanted to know who is going to win the World Cup that is being held every 4 years. The fans include a number of scientists. They created an algorithm called World Cup Optimization Algorithm. I don't know how much it is useful in predicting the World Cup winner, but it is helping to detect and predict the progression of cancer. They are testing with the cancer of melanoma and breast cancer. Newman gave the formula for entropy, but a brilliant mathematician and engineer at the Bell Labs, which became AT&T now, gave a different twist to the concept of entropy. His name is Claude Elwood Shannon. The theory bears his name. It is called a Shannon entropy. According to Shannon, the information is central to all processes.
Did, which I think he's very widely known for, is this notion of a fundamental limit. No matter what you do, as long as you're working with a certain amount of bandwidth, and as long as you're dealing with signals that are only so strong in the face of noise that you confront, no matter what you do, you cannot transmit more than a certain rate.
Here is one remarkable example how you can employ Shannon entropy to healthcare equity and access. The world of medicine made a huge progress in diagnostics and treatments, but healthcare delivery systems are not. A significant number of people on the planet don't see those benefits. Health inequities you can witness in rural and urban America's landscape, and worse, everywhere else. Health delivery system is riddled with complexities. It may be partially political, but it is also filled with logistical complexities. Variants like remote geography, disease burden, and economic backgrounds, to name a few. Where there is a complexity, law of entropy shines. Shannon entropy is successfully utilized by countries like Iran, Turkey, and Greece to address the inequities in healthcare delivery by allocating and utilizing existing resources more efficiently. Truly a remarkable tribute to human mind how an obscure 18th century physicist from Austria and 21st century brilliant mathematician from MIT can help humanity by discovering the hidden laws of nature. Thank you for listening. You can read in my book further. Science is not a subject, science must be a lifestyle. night, guys.